It's a Band of Gamers podcast, episode 193. We're gamers who love music. We're here to hopefully help you stay current with gaming and discover some new tunes. Both hobbies in separate segments, Side A video games and Side B music. Show notes, links, and conversation on our website at bandofgamers.com/193. I'm Joel, your MC, one of your three co-hosts, recording in a suburb of Milwaukee. Actually, it's in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Joining me on this podcast journey from across the globe, from the village of Vancouver, Canada, it's Shane. Hey, Shane.
Hello. Glad to be back. Another episode. ABOG 193. We'll be talking in rhymes all episode. Hopefully not.
I hope not. In Birmingham, England, he's download ready. It's Karl.
If we're talking in rhymes, I've really got my introduction all wrong. Yes, I am download ready. I'm getting super excited and hyped for 4 days in the rain, by the look of it, at Castle Donington. So, yeah. Weather not so good. The bands, though. Talk about that later.
There's a couple tents, right? Smaller stages?
Yeah.
All right, Joel. Why don't you tell them what we're doing here today?
You got it, Shane. Well, we're fresh off of just watching the Xbox 2009 E3 briefing. Like minutes ago it ended. So we're going to share our thoughts on that. Talk about Google Stadia, which had a little bit of a presser a couple days ago. So it's kind of E3 heavy this episode. But we're recording on Sunday, June 9th, like I said, just after the Xbox. So everything that's happening at E3 after this, we're not talking about. We don't even know about it yet. But we've got a lot here just in Google Stadia and Xbox. And what we're playing, Karl's playing Grim Dawn. Get his thoughts on that. We've got our drinks, a little cheer, and Side B music. Recommended record this episode for fans of high-energy punk music. And female-fronted punk.
Ooh, even better.
There you go. Let's get right into it. Gaming news, conversations. Google Stadia had a, what do they call it? Google Stadia Connect. It was on June 6th. And it's their cloud-based video game streaming platform. You probably have heard about it. Playable on any device that has a Google Chrome browser, including PC, Mac, tablet, phones, and on a TV if you got a Google Chromecast Ultra. That's a mouthful. Google shared the internet bandwidth needs for this service. I think it's a good newsworthy point. You need at least, well, not at least, the high-end 35 megabits down for the highest quality experience. That includes 4K, HDR, 60 frames a second, and 5.1 surround sound. If you get a 20 megabit down, your middle range connection, 1080p, HDR, 60 frames, and 5.1 surround. The minimum requirement, 10 down, and that gets you a 720p, 60 frames per second, and just stereo sound. So depending on your internet connection, results may vary. Any comments?
That seems a bit low, doesn't it, guys? Like, really, you're going to be able to play with 10 down? You know what I mean? Like, that's... I can't even open my email with 10 down. Now I'm going to be playing, say Borderlands 3. Say we're going to be playing Borderlands 3 when I sit down in the kitchen and I want to play it on my my refrigerator because it's got a browser in there. So I don't know.
I think, it seems conservative, maybe. I think for me, obviously every country is a little bit different, but 35 down, you've got to be on fiber optic over here, and not everyone has fiber. This, for me, probably wouldn't work as it stands at the minute because I'm probably only getting around about 18 down, 20 maybe, peak. So you're kind of better off really just using the consoles. But I'd be interested to see what people's experiences are with varying internet connections. But it doesn't seem too intensive, really, when you think about it. There's a lot of people out there with really strong connections, 100, 200, 300 down. So it could, for those people, I think this could be, I think this is encouraging that it's not a massive amount of bandwidth.
They also announced a Founders Pack. You could pre-order it. $129 in the US, comes out in November. Gets you early access to the Google Stadia. I don't know how early. I don't think they said. A few days, probably. That Founders Pack also includes a controller. It's an exclusive night blue color. And looks like the controller's kind of commentary here. It looks like a combination of the Xbox One and the PS4 controller in one controller. And by that, it looks like it's got like the size and the form factor of an Xbox One controller without the offset sticks. The joysticks look like a PS4 controller where they're aligned straight across.
Yeah, it looks like a neat little hybrid kind of. Don't want to use the term generic, but maybe very Google looking, we'll say.
That's apt. You also in that Founders Pack get a Google Chromecast Ultra, which you will need if you want to play the service on your television, and if you don't already have one. 3 months of Stadia Pro service, which is a $9.99 a month offering. I did not have a chance to look up what exactly that means, Stadia Pro. But from what I'm hearing, and I think they announced this a little bit, it includes games now and then, kind of like games for gold on Xbox and PlayStation Plus, I think. Is that what you're getting with that $9.99 a month?
Kind of. It seems like it. It's a little bit confusing because they're saying, the month and then you get other stuff and then or you get to play some games, but then other games you got to buy. They really didn't present that very well, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's one of those, I think everyone will be able to play a certain amount of free games. So everyone will get, I think it was Destiny 2 that was the one that was kind of bandied around. And then if you want a few, better options, I think then you've got to, kick in your $10, which, when you're looking at the other, PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live and all that sort of stuff, $10 a month maybe doesn't feel too bad, depending on the kind of games that they're going to get. But they've got to get a few in there. Obviously, if you're competing with something like Game Pass, then, you're thinking actually, do they really need to, they've really got to have a strong lineup.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is like Game Pass or if it's just like I mentioned earlier, you're just getting a free one now and then. They did talk about you have to buy your games.
Yeah, they kind of are staying away from saying it's like a subscription thing, but the way they're presenting it seems like to gamers that I've spoken to, it seems like that's what has been presented, that it's a subscription service to play all these games, with a click of a button, and you're instantly playing it and whatnot. But they kind of aren't saying that, and I don't know. I'm not liking the way they this kind of little Connect thing that they did. What was presented, it seemed to raise more questions than it did answers.
I did check their website, and there's this Founders Pack coming in November. They kind of had like side-by-side lists, what you get with the Founders Pack and what you get if you don't buy the Founders Pack.
Yeah.
And apparently you can still play the games with the free level of service. So I'm not quite sure what you get with the subscription. It's not like, at first I thought maybe you need, because there's no console with this service, right? You don't need a box under the TV. You just need all those things I just mentioned, or one of those things. Maybe it's $9.99 to use the service, but that doesn't appear to be the case. And Destiny was announced, Destiny 2, as being a free play game day or two before this.
Yeah, and cross-platform as well, with game saves and stuff. I guess it's early days, with the Stadia thing. There's a buzz around it, and people are pre-ordering the Founders Pack and stuff, and on the face of it, 129, if you get the controller and all the rest of it, it doesn't actually sound too bad, but if you take a step away from it and think, well, actually, you're getting a controller, but if this ever stops, that controller, you can't use it with anything else, I'm assuming, and it's just going to be a hunk of plastic and metal sitting there. So, yeah, depending on how expensive, a PlayStation 4 may be, when this comes out, or an Xbox One S, $129 for something which you're not really getting anything tangible. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a tough sell, I think, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the controller, let's say it's a $60 value, just comparing it to its competitors, and the Chromecast Ultra is like $60 when it's on sale, maybe like $70. So right there, you've got the $129. 3 months of whatever this mysterious subscription service is, and then you get a buddy pass, where you can pass it over to a friend, and then they get 3 months of the mysterious subscription service. And I can't forget this, you get first dibs on your Google name. Must have said that like 10 times during the presser. Yeah, I don't know. I
Kind of weird.
I pre-ordered one just because I thought it'd be cool to talk about it on the show.
Whoa.
Get a chance to try it out. $129 to try it out. You do not need this controller to play the service. Again, the side-by-side comparison website, you can use an Xbox One or a PS4 controller to play these games. So maybe I am a sucker.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, if I can just use the gear I've got at home, if I can use the controllers I've got, then great. I might drop a tenner a month just to try it out.
It'll be interesting on how the controllers connect as well. Have they said like it'll be Bluetooth or whatnot?
I believe it is, yes, Bluetooth. I'm assuming it connects to whatever device you're using via Bluetooth.
Interesting. TVs have Bluetooth?
The Chromecast Ultra probably does.
Oh, the Chromecast would? Okay.
I know the iPad and the phone do, right?
Yeah, those, naturally that should be easy to uncover, but
it's got to be because there's no like receiver connected to anything that you're using to get like a radio wave signal. And right before we recorded the Xbox 2019 E3 briefing, let me start by saying, and I'll preface this entire conference, I'm gullible, man. I watch these things. I get the hype. I usually leave it like, yes, that was great. And then I go on the internet and I look at people and they're all like, this sucks. You suck. They suck. So I don't know. I probably need to like sit on it, think about it, but I don't have that opportunity. We just watched it. We're talking about it. I'd say I'd walk away from the Xbox presser pretty happy with their offering this time around. So at a high level, and we'll get into a lot of detail here, they shared 60 games, 14 of which are exclusive. I think 30 of which, if I'm getting my numbers right, are available on Game Pass right away. They talked about their cloud service real briefly. I was hoping to have like a side-by-side comparison after they were done talking to this Google Stadia thing. Don't think I got that, but they did talk about the cloud-based service. They also talked about their new console. They did not name it, so we don't know if it's going to be Xbox 2 or Xbox One 2 or what the hell they're going to call this thing. They're still going by the Project Scarlet name. They talked about that, and they tied that conversation to the cloud. So it's almost as if Google Stadia also had a console, that's what they're sort of going with. It's going to be the most powerful console, I think, until we hear exactly what Sony's doing. But this one's 4 times as powerful as the Xbox One X, 120 frames, lots of talk about loading being greatly diminished, if not at all, ray tracing, SSD, solid-state drive, 4 generations of content. That's what the quote was. So I'm assuming backwards compatible all the way to the beginning. Coming out holiday 2020. And something I wrote down here, another quote, foundation of future in console and formation of future in cloud. So apparently you're playing on your console, you jump to your phone, you jump to your tablet, and then back to the console. So very similar to that stream thing that Google's trying to do, except having the powerful box under the TV. Any other high-level comments, guys, before we get into the nitty-gritty of Xbox's conference? What you guys thought of it? Some of the things they talked about at a high level?
If I hear the words world premiere together one more time today, it's like every video, world premiere.
Yep, we're showing it to you first, but it'll be available elsewhere.
And in the future, they're more than welcome to change up their stage design any day. Because I moved in this, I thought, okay, I had to double check. This is 2019. Because the past few years, they've had the same kind of setup up there. So you can change it up a little bit. It would be a little bit more refreshing. But that's about it. That's all I got to say about it.
There's a Lego McLaren, Shane. I mean, was that exciting to you?
A Lego McLaren that wasn't really exciting. I mean, you knew eventually they were going to have some sort of Lego crossover into Horizon.
Did you?
After they did the Hot Wheels pack on the last one. Yeah, it was a matter of time they were going to do something like that. And it'd be kind of neat to buzz around in for a couple hours.
Does look kind of cool. I was watching that and thinking, this is really weird, but at the same time, it looks quite fun. It's probably something I'd think about picking up just for the giggles. Really, I think they did enough with the specs on the new console. I think it was kind of like towards the end, pretty much right at the death, and just saying, yeah, we got it, we got something in the pipeline. This is what we're looking at, and they're only talking about specs, but at the same time, that they have literally put a marker and said, "Yep, 2020 holiday." Sounds like it's going to be a beast. I mean, the Xbox One X is already really powerful, 4 times as powerful as that. GDR6 RAM, super quick. Energy consumption really low. I try not to get too excited because at the minute I have an Xbox One X, which I barely play, but I do enjoy having that console. It's a dream in terms of how quick it is and how responsive. And I must admit, if they're promising something that's seamless, with 0 loading screens and all this sort of stuff, then it will be interesting to see what Sony do, what they announce, if they do announce anything, in the next couple of months. Just because there's a bit of a marker down there, that is some good cutting edge technology, even when you're looking at 2020 holiday.
Yeah, they got so much of a lead right now, Sony. I don't think they have to announce anything. I don't think they feel any pressure.
No, not at all. It doesn't seem like that, and I don't think it necessarily has to do with having such a lead or whatnot. I mean, I try to, me myself, I try to stay away from console wars and who's selling more, it doesn't matter. What matters is the games and the experience that you get out of it, to me. So, but I think it seems like Sony's kind of sticking to what they do. They don't really feel obligated to be involved and join every aspect that everybody else is doing. They're kind of sticking with their identity. I think they're pacing themselves well, seeing where the cloud thing, where Stadia is going. I think this is all going to be just stuff that's kind of visioned, and I think they'll adapt when the time is right to when they do need to go those certain routes.
I would challenge you a little bit to say it does matter how much a console is selling when it comes to these types of press events.
Oh, when it comes to press events,
yeah,
they don't got it because they love seeing all that stuff.
Well, I mean, Sony is so far ahead right now that when you're behind, like Microsoft, you've got to really bring it. You've got to offer things. They've, over the last couple of years, I think they've shifted their whole business model much towards what they need to do to succeed. First-party games, talking more about games, not being the unit under the TV that does the cable TV and everything else. Connect, all that stuff is gone. They're doing what Sony's been doing for a couple years now, trying to catch up. They're still selling a lot of consoles, but Sony's in a position right now where they don't have to react, I guess is what I meant to say by that. That I think it'd be stupid to come out with a console that's 4 times less powerful than the new one. I think they'll react that way. They have to have something on a similar level, right?
Oh, definitely, and they will be. I think when both of the next gen, I think they'll be very, very similar. I don't see one having a huge advantage of the other because of the way, however you look at it, unfortunately or fortunately, the way the industry's going. It might be less necessary to have the most powerful console ever made or anything. It's an interesting time. But to go back to what you were just saying, Joel, it was kind of neat at the end of the Xbox thing when the gentleman up there kind of did that 180 and it's like, no, it's just about the games. When you rewind to quite a few years back when there was the whole, ordering a pizza and recording TV and whatnot, it was just like, all right, there you go. There you go. Now you're in the, you know what I mean? So it was cool to kind of, focused on that and, scooping up all these great little studios and whatnot. They're definitely,
These conferences are always polarizing as well. I mean, I watched this and I was actually I enjoyed it and I was quite excited. But the things that I was excited about across platform, really, when I look through the list of games that we've got here, and of course, the one that isn't exclusive by the look of it, Phantasy Star Online 2, which well, it came out in 2012, and I've been waiting for that to come out on the Vita in the West for so long, and toyed with the idea of downloading it for the Japanese store and everything else, but it was just too much hard work. That I am super excited about, but it's an old game, this press conference kind of ticked the boxes for me, even if maybe we didn't see a ton of gameplay.
Yeah, as a gentleman who owns the One X and paid $500 for it, I think. Is that how much it cost when it launched? Got the Project Scorpio edition of that thing, so I got it right away. I've been an Xbox fan for a long time. It's been hard to be an Xbox fan, let's be honest, lately. Last few years. I loved the original. I especially loved the 360. I thought besides it breaking constantly, I thought they did everything right with that console. The live service was excellent. They had some great games on there, and they've sort of been stumbling ever since. So as a little bit of an Xbox fan, I felt some redemption, a little bit. I feel like the box is going to finally do what I need it to do and have some games that you can't get elsewhere. And hopefully, their cloud-based offering might just be better than Google's because they do have that box under the TV. And I won't be entirely dependent on my internet connection or internet speed. I'll still be able to play console games like we all do. Just put the disc in and play the damn thing.
Here. Well said, my friend.
Indeed. And even if the ability to use your Xbox as like a server itself is that's a cool thing. Streaming to one of your other devices in the house or whatever, and the Xbox is doing the work, but you're actually playing on a browser from anywhere. That sounds like a cool thing if it does materialize. But talking about the games, Joel, Shane, anything jump out at you? Stuff you want to talk about? Any highlights from Microsoft's briefing?
Yeah, I wish I had more time to really digest what we just saw. But they started the show with 4 exclusive games, first-party games. We saw a strong showing from all those studios they bought up, which was nice. The first one, The Outer Worlds from Obsidian, like a first-person shooter, had like hints of Destiny and outer space and stuff kind of in there. It looked like a little bit. Looked pretty decent.
Fallout vibe.
Yeah, kind of Fallout. The Bleeding Edge was a second game. Ninja Theory, another first-party exclusive. 4-on-4 stylized 3-person action shooter. Looks like it may have some potential. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Beautiful looking game, platformer. Minecraft Dungeons doesn't do nothing for me. I'm not a Minecraft person. But if I was, that looks like it might be a decent game. Kind of a Gauntlet Diablo style co-op version of Minecraft.
It made me go, ooh, potential.
Phil Spencer came out, did his thing. Talked all about the games, like Shane mentioned. Then we got into a couple here. Karl, I know you've got highlighted you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, EA had their kind of gameplay reveal and stuff. I think it was yesterday, with about 13 minutes or so of solid gameplay from it. And again, this game excites me. I've been waiting for them to do a decent Star Wars game for a little while now. We had a lot of fun with stuff like Battlefield, but it's all about that single player experience that I want to get back to. And looking at the gameplay, this looked to be a bit of a kind of combination of Uncharted. It's got that over the shoulder third person viewpoint. Even how the character kind of moves and climbs, it looks and feels a little bit like an Uncharted game. But the combat, obviously, you've got your lightsaber, and when you're going into encounters with enemies, you had a couple of different bars under the character, and it looks like they've got almost a Dark Souls kind of mechanic with some of the combat, with like a block bar and some of this kind of stamina weighting to it as well, which is interesting. It's a little bit of a different way of doing some of the Star Wars combat. Maybe it'll give it a little bit of a more of an intelligent fighting system rather than just mowing through and doing what you want to do. But it does seem like quite a fun game to me. It's out obviously in November. I've got it pre-ordered. Kind of looking forward to it, and the more hype that this can get across all the different press conferences, the better, as far as I'm concerned. But the game for me, the main one, Cyberpunk 2077, I was itching to find out a release date. I love The Witcher. I think this CD Projekt Red are one of the best studios on the planet, and they really do put so much love and lore and just care into the games. So to see a kind of a new trailer, again, CG stuff. It's not any gameplay there, but Keanu Reeves popping up in that trailer was so cool. And then out he rocks on the stage, and I just thought that was brilliant. And I know it's a third-party game, and I know you'll be able to play this on your PC and your PlayStation, whatever else. But the way that Microsoft have got him on stage at something like E3, you can tell the difference a professional actor makes to like that interaction with the crowd and stuff. And I know it's a bit silly and a bit dumb, but I really liked that. I thought it was great. And obviously he's getting involved in that project. He's in the game by the look of it, and you'll be able to play in April, the 16th of April, 2020. I can't wait for that game.
Yeah, it looked like he drank a few Mountain Dews before he walked out there, eh?
Oh, yeah, he was buzzing.
Yeah, you look at he was all drugged up. Like they shot him full of something, and they sent him out there, and he's kind of like a deer in headlights at first. I had the biggest eye roll. I think I'm like the king of eye rolling. Love it, like consistently eye roll. I don't care if people catch me doing. That's what I do. Eye roll. Man, that was. I don't know. I felt quite a bit different than you did, Karl. I know you're a big Keanu Reeves fan, but he should have came out like, whoa, doing this whole thing that people know Keanu Reeves. That's Keanu Reeves. Instead, he comes out there and he's all hopped up on whatever, carfentanil or whatever. And yeah.
No, but he was like, I've got to tell you about a thing. He just kept shouting like, Cyberpunk 2077. Everyone's like, yeah.
Oh, then the audience just turned into a giant frat party. It's like, oh,
yeah,
settle down, kids. Like, he's trying to talk and say, and people are just yelling, throwing red cups at him, and they may or may not have thrown a red cup. But
surprised there wasn't any briefs thrown up on the stage there. All the man love going on.
That one guy, he said something like, that's attractive, and he was like, you're attractive.
I don't know, man. I sort of bought into the hype again. I'll be the gullible guy on this one. I'm like,
there's Joel sitting there. He's all mad for it.
I'm like, I haven't even seen a John Wick movie, but this guy's cool. All right.
He turns awesome around and he's just pre-ordered Cyberpunk. What?
Yeah, I guess.
It got people so fired up, man. People are loving it, and I was checking online, kind of watching through it and whatnot. And people are just so stoked, man. That was a huge moment in the press conference, though.
Couple highlights for me, looking at the games list here. The Microsoft Flight Simulator. Last game I'd ever think would be a highlight. Looked really, really cool. Powered by satellite and Azure cloud-based. Showed it flying by a bunch of real-world places, like the Space Needle in Seattle, and looked like some Arizona desert. And these games aren't for me, but that looked kind of cool.
That was the first game that they showed. I was like, whoa. That'd be cool. I'm definitely down. And then it comes out to be Flight Simulator. Like, hell yeah, man. I wanted to play a Flight Simulator for so long. Oddly enough, aviation interests me a hell of a lot. Weird, I know.
Yeah, that is odd.
I kind of get that. But we talked before, with previous episodes, we talked about VR and the really kind of unique uses that you could use for VR, when you're talking about, like seeing the world or, climbing up Mount Everest or whatever. And something like Flight Simulator, when it gets that realistic, and you're like, do you know what? Yeah, I could just fly over and see the pyramids and see the Grand Canyon. And if it's mapped out and it's literally so realistic, I'm all in.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Right after that in the show, I got to bring it up. They talked, Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, came out, talked about the acquisition of 7 big studios, and announced another acquisition. Double Fine Studios is now part of Xbox. That's a big one. So Tim Schafer came out. They showed a trailer for Psychonauts 2. That game looks pretty good. The new Psychonauts. I don't think that's going to be Xbox exclusive, however. Right? I think that's prior to the acquisition.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's out on other platforms. Double Fine is it is a biggie. It's a big notch in their bow, I suppose. But at the same time, they do a lot of kind of point and click games and stuff like that, as well. So it depends what they're going to bring to Microsoft.
The 12 minutes That's a game coming to other systems as well. It was one of Shane's favorite world premieres. So it's not Xbox exclusive, but interactive thriller about a man trapped in a time loop. And the male character son, I was sitting there like, who is that? It was bothering me. Who's that male narration? Who's that voice? I think it might be Rob Lowe. Sounded a lot like Rob Lowe. I could be way off base on that.
Ooh, a thriller starring Soda Pop. Nice.
The game looked cool. Away to the Woods. Another one that I thought looked interesting. It's a deer and a fawn, not mom and baby, but dad and baby looked like point A to point B thing. Clever use of light to find your way back to the woods. Looked like a pretty chill, heart tugger kind of game. Those are my favorites lately.
The graphical style looked really nice in that as well. It gave me some Journey vibes. It was very, very nice to look at.
Definitely really, really, really clean, crisp. All about the experience, which is always a good thing.
Gears 5, Bound by Blood. I'm a fan of the Gears series. I love the Horde mode. Anxious to play more Horde with my pals, and Gears 5's looking pretty good. And they also had some other game modes in there. Escape. I think what they call it, the escape mode. Where basically you've got to infiltrate the hive, plant a bomb, and then escape with your life. And you can build a hive and challenge your friends to play through it and beat it. And there was famous, is it WWE wrestlers or something playing it?
Yeah, they had them kind of sitting underneath the stage there and like, hey, yeah, you can play these guys, watch them. They're WWE superstars. They should have had the Hulkster down there. Can you imagine? They go down to see, and you got the Hulkster's playing. He's like, we're coming for you, brother. And then next to him is like the Iron Sheik, and he's got the guy next to him that does all his tweets for him. That's,
This Hulkster's got a locust in a headlock. What you gonna do?
Right. Leg drops the controller or some shit.
That made more sense. The Elite Controller 2 they showed, which kind of thought something like this was happening because the Elite Controller 1 hasn't been on store shelves in a while. I think they released a different color one recently. But looks like you can tighten the sticks like a screwdriver, make them as pliable or as rigid as you want, I guess. There's a shorter hair trigger locks, 3 custom profiles. You can set your buttons, map them however you want, quickly change between the profiles. Rechargeable battery. Holy shit, Xbox has a controller with a rechargeable battery, like built into the thing. That was different. 40 hours.
Good to get a new controller like that.
Nope.
I think adjusting the tension on the sticks is a really, really cool feature, especially for someone who enjoys a lot of racing games. Having a stiff stick, we'll say, definitely beneficial. Gotta love it.
Especially at this
Absolutely.
age. Saying,
I think I was quite excited as well around the Elden Ring. I talk about rings now. Obviously we had Bloodborne on the PS4, and it does sound like From Software have now kind of collaborated. They're going over to do one on the Xbox and Windows PC. So they've teamed up with George R.R. Martin. I think this was leaked a little bit ahead of the Microsoft presser anyway, but it does look like it's a new Soulsborne style game from Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin. So this could be quite interesting. Again, we only saw CGI, but if it is a game in the obviously the mold of Dark Souls / Bloodborne, then I think it could please a lot of Xbox people and piss off a lot of Sony people, because Bloodborne's a fantastic game and something that Sony players have kind of lauded over Microsoft players a little bit. We've got Bloodborne, and it ain't never coming to Xbox. Well, if this is George R. Martin has created a phenomenal universe in Game of Thrones, maybe this is something completely different, but you'd think with those creative minds at work, it's bound to be a bit of a winner.
At the very end, they talked about Project Scarlet, the new console, and then they showed some Halo. It was nice to see Master Chief back. I'm a Halo fan. Looks like it could be decent. I will say, though, I was expecting that game to look like amazing, because Xbox One X, this thing's supposed to be 4 times as powerful. It did not look any better than a current generation game.
Well, it just would have been a video cinematic.
It said in-game footage when they started that trailer.
Yeah, but the clip though, it wouldn't have been running on a Scarlet backstage or anything, right? I mean, they just would have had like a 4K video of it. I would assume. I mean, I can't see them showing off the Scarlet stuff like 2 seconds after they just kind of quote unquote announced it. Really,
but
I noticed that as well. Like I was like, okay, this looking at the lighting and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, okay, and just giving you a little tease. It seemed.
In the olden days, when they announced a new console, that's what they would do, man.
Yep,
they'd show you something where they're like, hey, this is the 16-bit Nintendo. Look at this. And your mouth drops. You're like, that looks way better than the one I have right now. So that was their opportunity to show you why we need a new console, and they didn't. Besides, it's launching with Halo. Well, good. It's been since the original Xbox, I think, that they've launched a Xbox console with their flagship franchise. So that's smart. But it didn't sell me on next gen.
True. And I think it does sound like they're only at the point where they've got the gubbins, they've got the guts of it. I don't think although they've got a game engine, obviously that game engine is probably, built on a PC at the minute anyway. So we'll wait and see, but I wouldn't draw too much into it. But we know that Master Chief's back.
And guys like us, Joel and Karl and myself, I mean, there's not really much they can do to sell us on next gen. We're all in. We're all in. Like the new PS5 comes out, the new Xbox, we're all getting them.
True.
We're all enjoying it. This is what we do. This is a passionate hobby we have. Now, if they had like an add-on to plug your turntable in or whatnot, so that
Oh yeah.
Just trying to drop the gullibility and have like an objective opinion there. That's all I got.
Do you know what?
It was all fun. It was.
Do you know what? It's okay to be excited. It's okay to look forward to this stuff and be happy.
Is it though?
Of course it is. There's too much negativity in the world, man. There's too many people whinging about stuff. Everyone said they wanted Microsoft to make a positive approach and come out and show games, and that's what they're doing. And to my mind, I enjoyed the presser. Okay, they're older games or they're games that are cross-platform and stuff, but something like that Elden Ring, it's exciting to me. As a Dark Souls fan, that will be an exclusive that I can only get on a Microsoft console that I'll be all over. It does. They are making those moves, although it's still hype, it's still CGI. But we see Sony's the same. You see their trailers years before the games come out, and that's probably why they're not doing anything this year, because maybe they don't have a ton. But they're so far in the lead. Like we say, does it really matter? I think we've got to talk. We can't really talk about this conference and not talk about the biggest game that was on that stand, which is Borderlands 3.
Spoilers!
Super excited. Shane, take your earphones off. There we go. Right. So, obviously, they showed a trailer for it. They talked about it a little bit. There is some free DLC for Borderlands 2 coming out, which is, and again, this has been leaked a little bit. Oh my God. A game that must be God knows how many years old now. 5 years? And there's free DLC. It's available now. Go download it. Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary. Borderlands 2. Go get that DLC, Shane.
His headphones are back on.
Yes, headphones are back on. I've done everything I can to stay away from any Borderlands 3 news.
Is it okay to talk about Borderlands 2 new DLC?
Yeah, you talk about everything, man. I'm just, for me, I want a fresh take going into Borderlands 3. I'm so excited for it. I don't want to know anything. I just want to get in there and just experience it, man. Because if it's half as good as Borderlands 2, man, it's going to be amazing.
So that new DLC apparently is included with your Game Pass.
It is. I think it's free anyway.
Is that okay? I was curious.
Yeah, I think it is free.
PlayStation players can get that for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can jump in, and I don't think it's massive, but there's some new weapon types in there. A new kind. I think it's a new tier of weaponry. From the little footage that we did see, it looks like you've got a gun that will fire out a butt stallion, which is just blows my mind. So I'll be downloading this tomorrow and playing through as soon as I can.
All right, Shane. Any highlights for you, or maybe better yet, more entertaining? What the eye roll moments?
No, I think it was probably the best Xbox conference, maybe to date. They definitely showed, after picking up all these great little studios, how far they've come, and their new direction that they're going, which is great, and a lot of promising titles, a lot of stuff that look good. It seemed like there was something for everyone, and they topped it off with talking about new consoles. So I mean, it doesn't get much better for that. So I can definitely see why a lot of I hate the term fanboy, but the supporters of Team Xbox, as they said on stage, would be very happy for this, and rightfully so, because they showed a ton, and something for everyone.
Pretty kind. Expecting.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and be. Well, I mean, what are we going to say? I mean, a lot of these games. I mean,
I don't know.
Probably not for me, but I'm not going to be like, oh, that looks like shit, or that's dumb. No, what's the point? I mean, somebody else is going to enjoy it. Enjoy it. Is what it is.
I'll phrase it differently. Any interest in buying the next Xbox, Shane?
We'll see what happens with Forza Motorsport. Let's see where they go with it. I have enjoyed the 3 motorsport games that I've played. I still have them. I still pop them in every now and then. It's a different feel than a lot of the racing games I do play. So it's nice, refreshing to get in there and do that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think the next generation consoles are going to be extremely affordable. We'll say. So my priority definitely would be picking up a PlayStation 5 first, naturally, and we'll see what happens at launch, and we'll see where it goes and where everything's priced at and what happens. It's still a year and a half away, but it's going to be an exciting year and a half leading up to it.
Yeah, I must admit, I am always excited about new stuff, new consoles, but there's a part of me now that is thinking about, do I really need that Xbox? Because one thing we haven't really touched on, we'll just mention really quickly, is the PC Game Pass, and they've kind of announced that there's this ultimate version. You can get the console, PC, and live Xbox Live Gold for $15 a month. So it gives you Game Pass on the PC, Game Pass on the Xbox One, and Xbox Live Gold, all for $15 a month, which is a pretty good deal. But for 100 games to play on PC, and I think it's going to be around, something like a $5 or £6 a month, I think, on PC for me, without paying for live. You don't, if you're a PC game, you don't pay for Xbox Live Gold. So it's. I'm thinking now, what's the differentiator for me? Is it worth keeping the Xbox around when I've got Game Pass on PC now, and I could actually save on buying Xbox Live Gold? So I've got that One X out there. Maybe I will get rid and just play all these games on PC.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough sell for me to buy Game Pass on both. And obviously, if one of them I don't have to pay for Xbox Live Gold, then it's a bit of a no-brainer.
I saw someone posted earlier today, when it kind of leaked about the Game Pass Ultimate, that if you have Gold and if you buy the $1 Game Pass thing they got going on now, it converts it all into the Game Pass Ultimate for the length of time. It adds on to your existing Gold. Like, it's really, really weird. It's like if you have, say, a year left of, or 12 months of Gold, and then you buy, the Game Pass for $1, how many months or whatever it is, it adds on to that and then turns it all into Game Pass Ultimate.
I was curious about that, man, because I have Gold and I pay the $9.99 for the Game Pass monthly.
Yeah, if you went and bought the $1 thing, now it tacks it all on and converts it all into Ultimate. It's really, really.
Well, that's the way it should work. I mean, if I paid $60 for a year of live, I got Game Pass, I should be eligible to be quote unquote Ultimate, because don't make me pay more after already buying live for a year, right? I shouldn't pay a live monthly fee when I already have the damn thing.
Yeah, true. And if I can do that, maybe that's the solution. Because I have got Xbox Live Gold, I think, till the end of this year. So if I did think about getting rid of the One X, then that might be the solution. Upgrade it to Ultimate and do it all on PC.
Yeah, they want to sell the service. So I think they don't even care. They're happy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we're playing. One game to talk about. That's Grim Dawn.
I've talked about this game a few times with our community before, and I do like me an action RPG. You know, Diablo is a game, obviously, that I've put hundreds and hundreds of hours into across PC, PS3, PS4, Xbox, and now Switch. So, you could argue I probably need to refresh it every now and again. And Adrian's been talking about Grim Dawn and saying, it's like Diablo, but it's different in its own ways. It's a lot more in terms of class development and stuff. There's a lot more to it in different ways. So I thought, it was on sale, picked it up, thought I'd dive straight in there. And I actually thought it was a newer game than it was. It's from Crate Entertainment. It came out in 2016, but it's using the old Titan Quest engine. So it actually looks probably just as old as Diablo does. It's set in the world of Cairn, which is a fictional world, which is loosely based on the Victorian era. And humans are caught in this war, basically, between ethereals and Chthonians, these kind of otherworldly creatures. And the human race is kind of getting wiped out, and you have to stick up for humanity and kick some ass. One thing I do like about this game immensely is that you feel like a boss from level one. Like you start the game, you pick up color-coded gear, which is always the sign in an RPG like this, and you get it the same in Borderlands, where you've got your different tiered gear is different colors, and you pick up that nice, like a yellow or a green, really really quick, in the first kind of half an hour of playing the game. And regardless of what character class you choose, and I've fiddled around with a few of them, you always feel super capable and super strong. You can take on 6 or 7 enemies at once right from the off. It doesn't feel too difficult in any way, shape, or form. And the more time you put in, the more that you level up, the tougher you do feel as well. So you do actually feel like the way I like to feel in an RPG. Not overpowered, but certainly capable of dishing out some pain. And there are 6 character classes in there. They're a little bit different from the usual RPG fare. So you've got a soldier, which is straightforward. You've got to have a basic dude, but then you've got a demolitionist, so explosives and kind of like just destroying the surroundings and the area of effect damage and stuff. A cultist, nightblade, arcanist, shaman. They're each one varying in their abilities. But you can kind of merge classes together. You can kind of split character classes and have little bits from this, have little bits from that, which seems to work really well. The variety in that means you can create some truly just brutal combinations. So lots of fun, I think, with that dual class stuff. I'm having a ton of fun with it. It is very much in the Diablo vein, but it does feel a little bit more involved, especially with some of the different loot, the crafting. You kind of stumble across these different recipes and things, and you have to recruit, different members and stuff. And so far, I'm having a blast with this. Very few downsides to it. I think the only issue is there's so much loot that drops. It's ridiculous. And you quickly find out that your inventory's full. You have to go back to town. You can teleport straight back, like you can do in Diablo. You can open this rift and go straight back, sell all your stuff and whatever. But being as it's on PC, you can kind of filter out the lower level loot if you want to. So you don't even see it. You just see the stuff that's rare or epic, depending on what you want to do. So that makes it a bit easier. And you can keybind to pick up like a lot of different pieces of loot at once, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm digging it. It's a good recommendation, Adrian. It's certainly a game that's going to suck me in. I can see me finishing this multiple times, just like Diablo. The story doesn't seem as strong. I think the story is, it's not weak, but it's fairly like, seen it all before sort of stuff so far. Maybe that'll change as further I get in. I'm probably only about 10 hours in or so, but already feel like I've done quite a little chunk of what the game's got to offer. But definitely a good recommendation. I should be playing a ton more of this.
Sounds right up your alley there, Chief.
It is, yeah. And the bizarre thing is that even before I spoke to Adrian about this game, it's been on my wish list on Steam for so long. And I've like, do I push the button or not? And I've already got a ton of games like this lying around. But I'm glad I jumped into this one first. And I've put the settings up to maximum on everything on PC. I don't think it makes much difference because it's not that intensive. But yeah, sure is enjoyable.
You guys are probably drinking some beers, no? What do you? What are my boys drinking today? for episode 193. What do you guys got in your glasses?
It's funny you should ask. A couple of weeks ago, I had the boys around to watch the Villa, and people bought beers, as they do. And
really, because people that come over nobody ever brings beer to me. Mind you, they always know that my fridge is always well stocked and it's never an issue. And I would turn them away if you ever brought beer over, because you're in my home. I will get you a glass of drink. But no, that's awesome. That must feel really good.
Yeah, I messaged everyone. I was like, do you know what? I'll get all the beers in. It's fine. But people did turn up and left some for me as well, which is always nice. So today I am drinking, and again, it is sessionable in terms of percentage, but it's not sessionable in terms of taste. Personally, I'm drinking some of Belgium's finest, Leffe Blond. It's a blonde wheat beer, 6.6%. I've had it on the show before, but before in a massive bottle with the cork in it. And I've got a few of these little bottles in the fridge. And just grab you one.
6.6 in a wheat beer.
Yeah. It's a beaut. To be fair, I do love these, but they have a very distinct taste. Joel's not a huge fan, I think, of some of these Belgian beers because they do have that. It's quite a strong aftertaste, and this is one of my favourites. This and the dark beer, the brewing that they do is pretty delicious. It's a real old, huge brewery, Anheuser-Busch InBev, I think it's called. Probably just butchered it. But I tend to have a few of these at once at very random times. Like if it's like I could just go for one of those. It's not a beer I drink all the time, but it certainly is. It's refreshing in its own way. But it does have that unique taste, almost a piney, woody taste.
I have seen those out here in this Pacific Northwest, so I'll definitely have to try one since you've recommended to try one now and then. So definitely will do.
I've got a very good Pilsner from 1840, but I talk about 1840 on every episode, so I did not grab that for this episode. Instead, I went with a Galactic Double Daisy Cutter. It's a double pale ale. It's not an IPA. It's a double pale ale. So it has that very more traditional pale ale taste with a higher alcohol content, basically. Ooh. Maybe a little hoppier. I'm not sure the percentage. Well, here it says 8%.
Whoa.
It's a half acre. Half acre makes a great brew. They're out of Illinois. Daisy Cutter is like a staple in my fridge. It's a standard, a standby. Go to the store, you want something familiar that you know is going to taste good. You're not in the mood at that point. It's rare, but I'm not in the mood to try something new and I just want something reliable and dependable. Daisy Cutter is usually one I grab for. And this double Daisy Cutter is more of a seasonal or more of a rare release. I grabbed it. It's pretty delicious.
Nice.
Yeah. And they serve Daisy Cutter at the hotel bar where we go to MGC.
Oh, yeah.
So ever since a couple of years ago, it reminds me of Karl when I see Daisy Cutter.
Oh, fantastic.
Dude, I've managed to get a couple of cans of that over in the UK as well, which is always goes down a treat.
It's going down good right now. I've been drinking a lot of lighter beers. Picked up a Pilsner from 1840. There's a Good City Pils. Good City Brewing here in Milwaukee do a really good Pilsner. And then some lagers I've been drinking lately. It's summertime. Just sit outside. Yeah. You want to do some yard work or something. You want to drink a beer. You don't want to drink like a double hazy IPA that'll put you to sleep. You want to just drink something refreshing, like a lager.
Something crisp and
put you to sleep.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, they can be, strong and thick and delicious, can't they? Shane, what are you drinking, sir?
Well, I am drinking actually one of your favorite beers of all time, Hobgoblin, which is a delicious ruby. What is it, like a red ale type thing? It's it's a featherweight. I'd say 4.5%, so you can definitely enjoy a few of them. But a good, fantastic English red beer, and I love them. There's a little bit malty. It's got a little spice to it, maybe a little nutmeg kind of spice to this or whatnot. But they always brew some great beers. It's at Wynchwood. I always love when you get around Christmas time or the middle of December or whatnot, and they always have great like gift packs. Well, they'll have like, you know, an assortment of like 2 or 3 beers. They'll toss in a glass for you or whatnot, and they're all limited kind of seasonal stuff, and they're always bang on. But I was in the beer store, and I was actually, ironically enough, like Joel's on the lighter beers. I was looking for Parallel's got a new pack that's just like a pale ale, pilsner, and a lager in there, and I'm like, it's that time of year where it's getting a little hotter out. Want to be able to have a few and, you know, not fall over or anything, and just enjoy, you know, good tasting beer and not have to worry about,
Yeah.
you know, having to run out and buy a 6-pack of G2 or whatnot for the next morning or anything. So saw a couple of these, the tall cans, grab those. Always
Nice.
delicious. Always do the trick. And yeah, so we got the Hobgoblin going today.
It's a great beer. And it is one of my all-time faves. I think as a Ruby, it's phenomenal, man. I really like that. You said that's only 4.4 or something.
Yeah,
The only,
4.5 over here.
the only reason it's 5.2 over here.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Conspiracy.
You got that memorized?
I got the, sorry?
Karl, he knows it's a 5.2 just off the top of his head?
Yeah, I drink a lot of that. It's 4.2%
Impressive.
in the UK.
Interesting.
They sell it in kegs in the supermarket, so
Yeah, they got the little mini kegs here that they do and whatnot. I always want to grab one of those, but I remember getting one of the Heineken ones, and it didn't go over well when I brought it home. And then also it didn't taste right either.
No.
Didn't. They don't. And you gotta pound them back, man. Once you open it, it's got to be done that night.
Yeah, lose that carbonation real quick once you crack it open.
Yep, and with all the carbonation, yeah, they do taste a little bit off. So you know what? Go with the tall cans. Enjoy them. Great beers.
Well, before we get over to Side B Music, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Appreciate you being here with us, taking some time out of your busy life to spend an hour and a half with your friends over at ABOG. Really do appreciate that. If you like the show, maybe tell a friend about us.
Welcome to Side B Music.
Recommended record this episode is from our good buddy and blog writer at abandongamers.com and my cousin, and he's recommended, and we trusted him. We listened to it. We shared it with you. Now we're going to talk about it. Amyl and the Sniffers. It's the name of the band and the name of the album. So self-titled release. Released on May 24th. These are his words. On Rough Trade Records, Amyl and the Sniffers is one of those albums that is cresting the wave of hype at the moment. They have built a cult following in Australia based on 2 EPs and have finally released their full-length debut. The album is full of loud, aggressive fuzz rock riffs and flies by in a short 30 minutes. The guitars are full on, the drums thundering, and the lyrics are barked and dumb. Basically a punk band that is possessed by the spirits of AC/DC and Rose Tattoo. It ain't gonna change the world, but will grab you by the balls and not let go. It's one of those records that, the moment I heard it, I wanted to listen to it again right away. That's an apt description right there. I couldn't have said it better myself. You know what else I hear on this record? Kiss. I don't know why the hell I hear Kiss in here,
Really?
but yeah, those guitars.
Like Lick It Up or
No.
Psycho Circus?
No, like early Kiss. It just got that 70s like fuzzy
Yeah.
style of guitars. And one thing I love about this record also, it has like an instrumental intro.
Right?
What punk records do that?
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And it's not an instrumental tune. It builds up for like 2 minutes or so, and then the vocals come in. But I love that about this album. It just grabs you right away, and it just builds and builds and builds. And then you hear her just start belting out those lyrics, and it's very high energy. It's infectious. All the tunes are short, except for that one, because of that 2-minute build-in. But I like it. You know, it's not like a special record. It's nothing that's going to be in my tombstone with me when I die. But it's good. And it's a good summer belter. I do want to keep listening to it. It's great to throw on and just jam out. And it's over quick, and you do want to hear it again when it's over.
That first tune, for me, sounded like old White Stripes. just that groove, that guitar playing, loud, fuzzy. Right away, it just started. All the box, just one by one, started checking off for me. Just right in there, it's bit of the Stooges in this record, and I didn't expect it to have such a big, full, dirty sound. I was not expecting that at all from the description when he recommended it. Wasn't expecting this, and boy, am I glad, because this album's amazing. I think it's an excellent debut, and definitely will be on my favorites of the year list this year. Loving it. It's fantastic. It's right up my alley. If you were to pick any album, like, hey, you need to hear this, this is the album that I need to hear. And Brad, you nailed it, buddy.
Yeah, I definitely. It does grab you, the fact that the opening track is instrumental for a little while, and it kind of the whole album has got that kind of pub punk. It's quite raw. It's quite fraught and a bit raucous and a bit messy, but in a good way. And I kind of like that. I talked on the show last time about my favourite song of the year being the new one from Slipknot so far. I think on this album I've got probably my new favourite song of the year in GFY.
Whoa.
That tune, it's so funny. I love that, it kind of, the way it opens up and the bass is all like, it's all kind of, all over the place. It's all warped and it just kind of pinging in here and there. And the way that she just, kicks in them lyrics and just ends each one, you got to go fuck yourself. And I'm just like, that for me, I'm just chuckling away to myself. It's genius. I love that tune. Angel, I do quite like it. It's kind of, it gives you a little bit, it gives you space to breathe a little bit, it calms it down a little bit, but it doesn't detract from, the overall impact of the record. I've listened to a lot of punk albums now over the past few years. This is right up there in terms of how just grabbing you by the balls and just hitting you in the face, and just it's so hard to describe because it's just so raw and it's just so noisy and loud, and I love it. Yeah, it's great.
The only problem I could find with this album, and I'll be completely honest, is I don't own a Trans Am to listen to this in.
With the T-tops, right?
You need some blown out Trans Am speakers, T-tops, and just turn it up, man. Just turn it up. It's one of those records, man. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Banger, as some would describe it. But yeah, check it out. If you dig the, some good loud punk, this is definitely one that you'll enjoy. It's it's different than a lot of the stuff that you hear in the punk community nowadays. It's got its own character to it, and that's what sets good punk records apart, is having a bit of that character, having a bit of the couple middle fingers up, and it's full of it on this record.
I'm glad you said that, Shane, because I was struggling. It would have sounded much more negative coming out the way I would have said it, but I'm getting a little burnt on some of the pop punk stuff, and it does kind of sound very formulaic and it's very similar. And to me, I have a hard time kind of telling them apart. And this does stand apart a little bit, and I'm not even sure why. It might be because it's got more of that fuzzed out, almost 70s sounding guitars in there at times. She's a spark plug too, so I think that
ain't she?
That helps as well. Have you guys watched any videos of her,
sir,
like live on YouTube? Mm-hmm. Man, she's crazy. Just throwing herself into the crowd, getting body passed around. People are respecting her as she's doing it. Getting back on stage, these tight little, tiny little shorts and these little crop tops, and just yelling and screaming. And it sounds great. And the guys are all having a good time playing, and the fun, infectious punk band right now.
Like early Blondie, before they went all, disco and whatnot.
Yeah, before they went too poppy.
Yeah. But yeah, I've had a few, picking up what Joel's saying, I've had a few pop punk records sent over, and I listened to them, and it's just dull. No, it's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like the guitars, you can tell they're playing. Whereas an album like this, they're punching those guitars. They're beating the crap out of the gear, and that's what it's about. You know, anybody can just pick it up and strum and write it, you know, a good punk tune and whatnot. But when you get the right person playing it, and that's why when bands cover, you know, the Ramones, you know, it never sounds right. You know, there's definitely something to it, and there's a way you play it. And not sure the name of the guitarist in this band, but man, he can play. He can play, and he's doing what he does, and it's excellent.
Great recommendation. I'm glad Brad shot it over. Also been listening to, there's a new Perry Farrell album. Big Jane's Addiction fan. Porno for Pyros, another band I really liked a lot. That kind of fell dull to a lot of people. I remember that album was in the clearance bin so fast. And I really loved that self-titled Porno for Pyros. He's got
they make great pets.
Yeah. Like, yeah, man. Good reference. He's got a new album out, and Phil X, Shane, plays on the record.
Oh, man.
Taylor Hawkins as well. Not sure what I think of the album, however. But I gave it a shot once I heard that those people were involved. And Peter DiStefano from Porno for Pyros also plays some guitar on there. I'll keep digging in. We'll see if it blossoms for me. But so far, it's like, Perry Farrell.
Yeah.
Do another Porno for Pyros album, please. Please. Also been checking out some Aldous Harding, her new album, Designer. Really, really good. Kind of has some old, like, Nick Drake tones to it. Kind of a chill, a little bit more of a downer record compared to some of the stuff we talk about. But I like those records on occasion. It's a good pond album. Sitting out there with some wine. Kicking back a little bit. Very good. And I heard a good story, too, from Ken at Acme. He went and saw her live. Chicago, I think. Little pub or something. And apparently live, she has like a style where she focuses in on one person in the crowd as she's singing and just like peers into their soul. And apparently he was one of those people at some point during the gig. His wife was like, something you want to tell me? Like, is something?
Right?
But it's a good record. It's called Designer. I've been checking that out quite a bit. I don't think I'd recommend it here because I think you guys would be like, what are you doing, man? I don't know if it would go over very well, but I like it. It's just a little different from our usual flavor. Listen to a lot of Jason Isbell. That concert, I'm seeing him next weekend. First time I'm seeing him live, playing a BMO Harris Pavilion here. It's at Summerfest grounds before Summerfest. Got fifth row. I'm pretty stoked. Double bill with Father John Misty.
Oh, there you go.
Checking out some of that as well. But Jason Isbell, man. I mean, he's over the last few months, actually. I've talked about it on the show. Just a quick reminder. My friends love this guy. They love him so much. I was like, just shut up about Jason Isbell for the love of, just shut. For that reason, I stayed away from it. Just like, I get it. Yeah, you love him. But now I've gotten into him and I'm like, it's pretty good. Pretty good. And he's got the lyrics. Just, he's a poet with his lyrics. He's one of those guys. I think I read a quote somewhere. It was a magazine or a online article where they talked about Jason Isbell's show. It's the only place you see a bunch of 50-year-old men crying during the entire concert.
What?
Just kind of grabs you and he just pulls at your heartstrings a little bit. There's a tune on the record too that gets my wife every time where she just starts crying. She's like, damn it, turn this tune off. I love this tune, but you're killing me. And the record I listened to the most, called The Nashville Sound. Jason Isbell and the 400 Units. His band came out in 2017. I'm going to go ahead and we'll see what the other guys got, but I'm going to recommend this. I want my guys to hear this. I don't think they're going to like it, to be honest, but I'm hoping I'm pleasantly surprised by the opposite. Just because those lyrics, man, they're good. The guy can write, the guy can sing, and his band's pretty decent. Talented people, pretty chill. Not your typical upbeat stuff that we've been doing, but Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit, the Nashville Sound. That's my recommendation. What do you guys got?
I haven't really got any recommendation this week.
Yeah, likewise. Bit of a kind of a drought with at least new records that I've been finding that I'd recommend.
Problem I have is that I'm listening to predominantly heavy metal, being as though I will be at Download for 4 days this week, as it's now past midnight. So yeah, hopefully I will be in the right place of mind to absorb this one, Joel.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys will like it, but
Yeah, it's worth a shot, man. Never know.
it's for the listener too, right? Let us know what you think. Come on over to our Discord server, leave some feedback, send us an email, feedback@abandonedgamers.com. I'm loving this record, and I'm anxious for my two cohorts to either agree or be like, dude, you again.
I'm sure it won't be that bad, dude.
That's all I got, guys. Anything else to close out the episode? Or we're back at you in 2 weeks.
I'll say just a real quick on download. We did throw out something on Twitter the other day just to say, if is there anyone that I should be seeing when I'm down there for a few days, and we had some good responses back on stuff. Slayer, obviously, which I will be watching. It's the last ever UK show. I think they're now just doing their last shows all around the world before they hang up their guitars for good. Sadly, Whitesnake nominations for the Interrupters, which I'll definitely be seeing. Then we've got a bit of Slash and Miles Kennedy. We've got a bit more Slayer, Animals as Leader, Tool, Lamb of God, a couple of others. But in my head, I know who I'm seeing. For the most part, there is a bit of a clash, but I should be able to give you a bit of an update when we come back in a couple of weeks' time on Slipknot, Tool, Smashing Pumpkins, Amon Amarth, maybe a bit of Slash if I do get a chance to get round onto that stage. Skindred, Behemoth, Power Trip, Alien Weaponry, who were absolutely phenomenal boys. I shared their album with you. You want to do yourself a favour and listen to that because these dudes, they're teenagers from New Zealand, but their debut last year was just freaking awesome. Stone Temple Pilots, I should be checking them out. I know that it's a different singer,
and they just announced a Purple reissue that's coming out in September. With a bunch of bonus stuff on there and remastered and whatnot. And I think it comes with a gig, but I think the gig, judging by the track listing, looks like a really famous bootleg that got released, like a good soundboard that I've loved. I mean, the track listing looks almost identical, so wonder if it's that same gig and whatnot as full on proper quality, which would be fantastic. But yeah,
hope so. Yeah, because that Purple album is one of my favourites of the night. It's such a good record. That and Core. I mean, to be fair, they've got such a ton of good tunes, and I know it's not the same singer, but at the same time, they've been getting some really good reviews from the gigs they've done, and I'm like, I'm not paying to see them. I'm already there, and I can sing along with all the ones that I love. And I don't think anyone is clashing with them. I'd definitely be checking out the Interrupters. There's a bit of a clash with Opeth, but I've seen them before. Hopefully get a chance to see Me First and the Gimme Gimmes if I can.
CJ's playing bass for them on that tour.
Ooh, is he?
Yeah. But yeah, definitely if you get a chance, check them out for at least a couple tunes because they're blast live and yeah, Gimme's good fun.
I'd prioritize that shit, dude. You got to check those guys out.
Well, I think the only clash is with Rob Zombie, I think. And so I do like a bit of Rob Zombie, so I'll watch a little bit of that. Anthrax, just for nostalgia's sake. Beartooth. Who else we got? At the Gates. And some of the good stuff, some of the, nice heavy stuff. So I should be giving a full report when we come back in a couple of weeks' time. But the weather forecast looks dire. I should be probably swimming in mud and beer and and covered in bruises like I normally am. So looking forward to it.
Have you seen Tool before?
Never seen Tool. No, I didn't think I'd get the chance, to be perfectly honest.
And that's another one you got to prioritize. Sounds like you're already going to check them out, though, hey?
Oh yeah. They're on their own on Sunday. I think Smashing Pumpkins are on just before them, but the two of those don't clash with anything. So. Looking forward to that.
Kick ass. Recommended album next episode. Oh, you know what? Stone Temple Pilots. I wanted to say Purple, good record. My favorite Stone Temple Pilots album. Maybe this is a shot in the dark here from everybody else, but Tiny Music, Songs from the Vatican, Gift Shop. I love that record. Love that record, man. That's my favorite STP album right there.
Fantastic. Big Bang Baby. One of their best tunes. Amazing lyrics, incredible. Love that tune. Their guitar player is something else, man. He's got like those alien fingers. He can get all. If you ever tried to learn some STP songs, man, you need some serious, like finger extensions or something, man, because he's all over the board, man. He's incredible. He's such a treat. I got to see them once. It was the number 4 tour when Scott came back and had cleaned up, insert air quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was all over the stage. It was an incredible gig. Well, Heaven and Hot Rods.
Yeah,
Such a good band.
Never really checked that album out. I'll have to listen to that one, Shane. 4.
It's decent.
The Pinnacle. I have this problem with bands sometimes. I stop at the Pinnacle. Like, I'm good. I'm out. Like, that's all I needed to hear. Like, that album right there. That's that Tiny Music Songs from the Vatican gift shop for me, for them.
There's so many bands I've listened to. Like, somebody will turn me on to one album, and it'll be so good, I won't want to listen to any other album of theirs.
Same thing with Soundgarden. I think I have an unpopular choice here for my favorite Soundgarden record. But Down on the Upside. Love that record.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I don't mean to say that to sound like.
I knew I'd alienate you if I tried hard long enough.
No, it's fine. It's just a Bad Motorfinger. I think is, in my opinion, I love that album.
I like Louder Than Love more than Bad Motorfinger.
Oof.
I like that Chris Cornell screaming. Was always my favorite when he had that. Just yeah.
Down on the Upside. That's got Pretty Noose on it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a banger.
It's a great record.
That's their best tune. Pretty Noose. Amazing tune.
It's coming around. For next time, recommended record, The Nashville Sound by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Be back at you in 2 weeks. Take care.
Magic people, voodoo people.
Can you guys hear my dog barking at the top of his fucking lungs up there?
I'd like to.
All right.
I do not know.
Give me a minute here. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay, bro. Special guest Clyde is coming on the show. So he heard Keanu Reeves, then. That's all it takes. He's like,
Was that show content, or am I starting back like we didn't skip a beat?
I'd say that's show content.
Yeah,
For a bit
for
of
sure. We just kept it going. Veterans. We're all veterans here.
All right. Then I'll have to leave in me running away to go check on my dog barking.
Yeah, it's all good. You know, the folks appreciate that. That's what keeps us real. We're,
All of a sudden, he's a wanna bite your nuts off at everybody who drives by the house kind of dog. Just loses it. Just loses it. Very intimidating for being a non-intimidating dog.
bless him.
Bless him indeed.